Hey, welcome to the All Hard Grit and Grind channel. Now, in this video, I'll be discussing the difference between steer tires and drive tires because some truck drivers and tire technicians tend to get these two confused when they really shouldn't be, given all of the training that they had. Now, the tandems, better known as the trailer axle, it's pretty much cut and dry with it because it's only one set of axles on the trailer. People never tend to get those confused, but these steer tires and drive tires, I guess because they're both on the vehicle while you're driving, on the part of the vehicle that's driven, as opposed to the trailer that is in tow. Maybe that's why they get it confused. I don't know. But we're going to get into it in this video, nevertheless. But first, let me get into what inspired this video. Well, number one, I saw this diagram on the internet while I was browsing. And number two, it just helped me to recall an event that happened maybe 2 or 3 years ago, in which I was at the facility attempting to depart with this preloaded trailer so I can make a delivery, and I was unable to do so, all because after I was doing my pre-trip inspection on the tractor, I noticed that one of the drive tires was flat. So I called the breakdown department at my company and informed them about the said tire, and they said, okay, gave them my location, which terminal I was at, and they said a technician will arrive within 90 minutes. I said, okay, cool. Now that's 90 minutes that's gonna go against my 14-hour clock. Now, I said in several other videos, but I'm saying it again just in case some people didn't hear it. Well, we truck drivers have a 14-hour clock. Well, we also have an 11-hour clock. We can drive up to 11 hours, but we can work up to 14 hours. And in that 14 hours, it not only includes driving, it includes fueling, doing the pre-trip inspection, like I just mentioned earlier, the post-trip inspection, which happens at the end of the trip when you're done driving for the day. It includes loading at a facility, unloading, waiting for the vehicle to be repaired, if any repairs need to be needed. Just a whole lot of other different things, little things that goes into that 14-hour clock. Okay, now getting back to this flat tire. So the technician arrives with the tire, but here's the problem. When I get out of the truck and I take a look at the tire as he is about to put it on, I said, that's not the right tire. And he goes, well, you said you needed a drive tire, didn't it? I said, yeah. I said, I need a drive tire, but this isn't a drive tire. It's a steer tire. So he looked at it and, looked at me. I looked at the tire, So he has to go all the way back to the shop to get the correct tire, because you don't want to put a steer tire on a drive axle with 7 other drive tires. It just won't. You'll have an uneven ride, and I mean, you can do it, but you're gonna have a whole bunch of complications going down the road. The ride quality ain't gonna be right. And most importantly, you're gonna have some premature tread wear, because the tread pattern is different on each tire. The pattern on drive tires are different than that on those of steer tires. So you got one type of tire on one axle, you need to put the same type of tire next to it. So now I got to wait another 90 minutes, which is another hour and a half, while he goes to retrieve the correct tire. And that's another 90 minutes that's going to go against that 14-hour clock that I was telling you about. But it's not a really far drive. It was like about 400 miles, I believe. So I wasn't really sweating it. But on the other hand, it's always imperative to get it right the first time. Get it right the first time. I mean, that's why I say it's important to know the difference between steer tires and drive tires. No reason for people that call themselves professionals to get this confused. All this could have been avoided. But moving on from that, we're going to get into the reason why they're called steer tires and drive tires. They're called steer tires because simply the steering wheels in which the tires are on are controlled by, guess what, the steering wheel, and the driver that's turning the steering wheel. You turn the steering wheel to the left, those wheels go left. Turn the steering wheel to the right, those wheels go right. You keep the steering wheel straight, the truck will go straight. And that's why they're called steer tires. Now, drive tires, they're pretty much controlled by you engaging the transmission into the drive position and you hitting that gas pedal. When you hit that gas pedal, after you put it in drive, that's when those drive wheels get to turning. So when you hit the gas pedal, those drive wheels are the ones that's actually doing the propelling of the vehicle. And they are called drive tires because they are pretty much controlled by, guess what? The drivetrain, which consists of the axle, the differential, the drive shaft, and last but not least, the transmission. That's the drivetrain. So, there you have it. That's why they're called drive tires. This is why I say there should be no confusion between the two. They're called as such for a reason. And the tandems, I already said that they're pretty much called that because they're part of the trailer. They're attached to the trailer, which when the tractor hooks up to the trailer, it becomes a combination vehicle. So that's why you got the tandem axles. And again, there's no confusion there because you got one set of axles on that trailer. So that's pretty much that on that. Whoa, I almost forgot to get into the corresponding weight limits at the bottom of the screen here. And these are the maximum gross weight allowed on each axle. So you're allowed 34,000 pounds on the tandem axle, 34,000 on the drive axle, and 12,000 on the steer axle. Now this is the combined weight of the vehicle and the weight of whatever freight you're carrying inside the trailer. Just say, for instance, let's just say the maximum weight allowed on a tractor trailer is 80,000 pounds. So you pretty much got 80,000 pounds right here. This is the maximum allowed. This is the maximum allowed. This is how they divided it up on each axle. So let's say you have a load that's 40,000 pounds. You need to go to the truck stop and use one of those, what they call CAT scales, and pre-weigh it yourself before you get out on the highway and have to go through a weigh station, because you don't want any problems. But getting back to the truck stop, you can pre-weigh this trailer, and it's like $12. And if you're overweight on either one of these axles, you can adjust your weight at the truck stop by sliding the tandem axle forward. That will put more weight on the tandem axle and take some weight off of the drive axle. That's how you adjust your weight. And you do that by locking the trailer brakes and releasing the tractor brakes and backing up. And with the trailer brakes being locked, you are able to slide that trailer back and then turn. Those two axles will move forward, like toward further toward the tractor. So that's how you adjust your weight. So you want to do that before you get to any weigh station on that highway, because that's what they're going to be looking for when you go inside that weigh station and you pull onto that scale. They're going to be checking to make sure you're not over 34,000 on either one of these axles and 12,000 on the steer axle. If you're overweight on either one of those, they're either going to tell you to pull around back. They may or may not give you the opportunity to adjust your weight depending on the officer and depending on what type of mood he's in. Or he may just give you a ticket outright, an overweight ticket outright. Now, usually sometimes they'll give you the opportunity to make the adjustments to avoid getting the said ticket. But like I said, it's at the discretion of the officer that's in their weigh station. So that's the breakdown of the gross weight that's allowed on each axle. So, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got on this topic right here. I wanted to throw that in there, even though that wasn't the topic of the video. I just thought about going ahead and touching on it since it's in the diagram. And thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like button. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. Peace.